So here's something I found amusing. From Unilad by Liv Bridge. Headline, Bizarre Reason Why McDonald's Worker Might Not Receive $60,000 Reward for Identifying Luigi Mangione. This is about that McDonald's employee who turned in Luigi Mangione, who is now in police custody, a suspect in the killing of the United Healthcare CEO. From the article, the cops had launched a widespread manhunt for their suspect and appealed to the public for their help in tracking him down. New York Police Department offered a reward of $10,000 for anyone with information on their suspect. The search then grew over the weekend as the FBI backed the NYPD in the investigation, adding an additional $50,000 to the pot, and hundreds of tips poured in. The McDonald's worker said they saw Mangione around 9:15 a.m. acting suspiciously in the restaurant, adding that he appeared to have fraudulent documents. I am very curious as to the situation that allowed this McDonald's employee to notice that one of the customers in the McDonald's had what appeared to be fraudulent documents. Have you ever had to show documentation while ordering your Egg McMuffin meal at McDonald's? I don't know. Anyway, continuing, Mangione was then arrested with 5 charges at the scene as officers found he was in possession of fake IDs, a ghost gun, silencer, clothes. I'm assuming clothes that they suspected were connected to the killing. I don't think it's illegal in Pennsylvania to possess clothes. And a mask matching the one that the suspected shooter was captured wearing. Just hours later, investigators charged Mangione with murder and 4 other counts, including firearms charges. The tip-off from the employee is apparently crucial in the case. But the question remains if the worker will be able to cash in on the $60,000 reward at all. The rules are complicated, as they stipulate tipsters with a chance at the FBI portion of the reward cannot nominate themselves. This means the McDonald's worker will have to be put forward by an investigating agency, such as the Department of Defense or the FBI, which is then reviewed by an interagency committee. If approved, the suggestion is passed on to the Secretary of State, who signs off on the final decision. This really seems like a rule that somebody somewhere along the way made up in the hopes that they would be able to use it as an excuse to not give somebody the reward money. Doesn't it? You can't nominate yourself to get the reward money for the tip that you gave? Some agency needs to decide that you deserve the reward, that your tip was worth shelling out whatever the promised amount was. Isn't that a little bit like buying a lottery ticket? The ticket hits, like you get the winning lottery ticket, but you can't just show up at the lottery commission and say, here's the winning ticket, where's my money? Like some other agency has to step in and say, yeah, we think he deserves the money. We'll nominate him to cash in the winning lottery ticket that he bought. Like, he bought the winning ticket. That's his money. The reward was, if you give us a tip that leads to the arrest of the guy we're looking for, you get $60,000. And that's what he did. Regardless of how any of us as individuals may feel about it, regardless of any sympathies many of us might hold for Luigi Mangione. Not me. I don't approve of what Luigi Mangione did. I just want to make that clear. I don't approve of him shooting down that United Healthcare CEO. I don't approve of that at all. But if any of you do, and you're sympathetic to Luigi Mangione, and you're pissed at this McDonald's worker for being a snitch and a rat and turning him into the cops, even those feelings aside, you have to admit, like, he earned the reward money, don't you think? Like, he did what he was asked to do. He ratted out Luigi Mangione. He called the cops like a snitch, like a rat, like a stool pigeon. And he said, the guy you're looking for is here in my McDonald's. The birth certificate he flashed when he bought his McGriddle looks fake. You know, whatever happened, he did his part. And now he might get screwed out of his $60,000 The article continues, if that's not tough enough, the full reward amount could also be in dispute as payment amounts are based on factors from the value of the information provided, the level of threat, the severity of danger or injury to people or property, and the degree of the source's cooperation. Now that really sounds like some shit that somebody made up so they could have an excuse not to pay the money. Doesn't it? I mean, even more than the last bit. Like, they get to decide, well, yeah, I mean, the guy's tip did lead to us making an arrest, but I mean, do we need to give him the full amount? Like, he was just sitting at a McDonald's surrounded by obviously fraudulent documents with a ghost gun there on the table as he drank his McCafe. Like, we were going to catch him eventually. I mean, yeah, the tipster did lead us to catch the guy at that particular moment, but was his information really vital to the apprehension of this suspect? I don't know. I mean, maybe we could give him something, but do we need to give him like the whole $60,000? I feel like we can just get away with giving him a little bit, right? As for the NYPD's $10K, the rewards program is granted through Crime Stoppers, where tipsters receive a unique reference number. Now back to the lottery ticket situation. He's got to have his ticket if he wants to get the $10,000 that he's owed from Crime Stoppers, in addition to the $50,000 from the FBI. He's got to have his ticket. This number is crucial as the tipster has to use it to call back or check the status of the investigation online before lodging a claim with the NYC Police Foundation and the Crime Stoppers Board of Directors, who ultimately decide whether to approve the tip and instruct the caller how to receive it. So, if the informant called 911 instead of Crime Stoppers, they might be unable to make the claim. In both cases, the rewards will only be paid out if the arrest leads to indictment or conviction from the court. So the McDonald's employee could be waiting a while, and even at the end of it all, might not even get a dime. So this McDonald's employee, this eagle-eyed McDonald's employee, this upright citizen who took one look at Luigi Mangione as he was sitting there in his McDonald's eating the deluxe big breakfast with hotcakes that he had ordered using false documents, he was able to take one look at that guy and say, he looks good for the killing of that United Healthcare CEO. And he did his duty. He called in the tip, he got the cops over there, and they arrested the guy. And now this article is telling me that this guy, this McDonald's employee who ratted out Luigi Mangione, might not get his money. What the fuck? Look, I don't know what this McDonald's employee's situation is, but given the fact that he works at McDonald's, I'm assuming that $60,000 is a lot of money to this guy. Like maybe even a life-changing amount of money to this guy. And he's not gonna, it's possible that he's not even gonna get it. He needs to have called the right number to report that the suspect was in his McDonald's. If he called 911, he loses some of the money. He needs to call the Crime Stoppers hotline to get his money, and he needs to write down his reference number so he can call back in a few months and check. Hey, about reference number, whatever. I need to. How's it going with that money? Have you convicted that guy yet? Can I get my money yet? He needs to do the legwork on this. Somebody can't just say, "Oh, I saw on the news that guy from McDonald's was the guy who provided the tip that led the cops to Mangione. He's clearly the guy we owe the reward money to. Let's just find out where he lives and give it to him." That's not how it works. He's got to keep up on it himself. He's got to do the legwork himself. And if he does, you're telling me he's owed tens of thousands of dollars from these people. And if he doesn't dot every I and cross every T, if he doesn't do every last bit of paperwork that these people require him arbitrarily to do, if he makes one tiny little mistake, some administrator, some adjuster is going to look at that and use that as an excuse to screw him out of his money. And this tiny little administrative error that this man innocently makes could end up costing him tens of thousands of dollars, because all of these unnecessary obstacles have been erected between this man and this thing that he wants, this thing that honestly, if he's working at McDonald's, this thing that he probably needs. $60,000, you work at McDonald's, you need $60,000. And he's not going to get what he needs, and it's going to cost him tens of thousands of dollars because he didn't do every tiny little thing right. He didn't check every single box that he needed to check. The tiniest little oversight could cost this man $10,000. What kind of a sick system is this?